Okay, I don't know how much of the first game that you got. All I got was a message that it was just all for naught. And when I saw that message, I saw the original stream. And right now, it's 3-0 France, but Tweedy just scored. To give it out to you, France scored twice early. Matuidi again hit one to make it 3 now. It's 3-0. The biggest thing that I can say here is that France up 3-0 against Japan. Their current state, they're going to have 4 points. And they're going to have a +3 as of now goal differential. When it goes to Japan, Japan is right now has a -1 goal differential. They have a -2 because they won the game 2-1 against Uruguay, and they have 3 points. So France will have 4 as this happens now. Japan will have 3 points going into the third and final game. France has a 3-0 lead, but Tweedy just put one in. That's going to be a foul. That might be a card, and that's easily a card. And Doan doesn't like it, but it's going to be one. When you do that from behind, that's not good. And Doan doesn't like that, but oh well. When you tackle from behind, it's all for whatever. So Doan gets a yellow. And they got to be careful because they don't want to pick up. Japan has to play Sweden in the last game of Tweedy to Giroud. They're going to try and make it 4. And knocked away Conte. Now Japan was looked on as the 31st ranked team in this tournament. And Japan beat Uruguay 2-1. So when that happened, that was big. Here's Griezmann. Oh, the shot, and it's going to be knocked away. So everybody took notice in the tournament, like, oh my goodness, here's a huge upset. Are all of them going to start? Well, that's not going to be what happened. So when France played today, Japan had a lot of hope today, and it's gone nowhere, as most times challengers do to teams. Really, challengers, a lot of times when you have hope for them, there are some sports where sometimes they come through. You know, sometimes in NCAA basketball, a lot of times the challengers, they come through. And, you know, in soccer, a lot of times, more often than not, in a game full of close scores and stuff, really the games are never close. Because the good teams put on their A game, and the challengers just can't match up. Today's one of those, as Japan played even until the goal started. And now France has 3 and Japan has nothing. For Japan, you need a goal for the goal differential because now you're playing for second position. You're going to have 3 points going into Sweden. And Sweden could have 4. We could have 4-4-3-1, which means everybody, including Uruguay, is in it. That Uruguay-Sweden game tomorrow is going to be absolutely huge. All these games are. Sacco, and it's wide. Well, quite frankly, I mean, this is, I would say, you know, this game started well. The stream went down. It happens. Maybe the internet went down, which it has up here, but it was very choppy. And then all of a sudden, France, a 3-0 lead here. Then we picked it up basically after France got their third goal as we're about to go to the half. And Japan has got a few shots on goal that have just been wide, but there's never been that sense of them tying up the game. They were down 2-0 quite quickly, and never that sense. There's going to be 3 extra minutes. Here's Matuidi to Giroud. You get the feeling that France is just on the run. Let's see if France can get 4. If they can get 4, Japan is in trouble. And they try and go to Giroud. It'll be knocked away to Dombelli. He'll trap it against his feet. To Matuidi to the near side, Pavard. There's a cross. It's high and too far. And that'll be a goal kick for Gonda. Well, I will tell you this much, that Japan does not want to give up another one. When you lose goal differential, you lose tiebreakers. Head-to-head in the World Cup competitions, in the Kev Watson Cup, which uses World Cup formulas, does not uses the same tie-breaking format. So it is total points, then after goal differential, does it become head-to-head. That's going to be the half. You can see Giroud at 16, Griezmann at 20, and Matuidi at 35, and France has a 3-0 lead against Japan. France looking every bit like the number one team in Europe as they're playing the number one team in Asia. It's France 3, Japan nothing. Really not too much. We're probably going to get this game over with. Not too much to really ponder about. In the first half, it was just, it started out even, and then France started dominating. That turnover early by Japan was huge. Now led 1-0. Nakajima now. They're going to push it forward. They try and go to Osako. Osako's been close a couple times, but he's not going to get it. Yoshida again. Here's Nakajima. Dombelli again will have it. And France will control. Well, the future, one of the reasons why you want to be France at number one is because France's last game will be against Uruguay, and that's going to be a very interesting ball. It's going to be very interesting, especially since Uruguay wants to win it all. If they can beat France, that'll be big. But Uruguay needs to beat they need to beat Sweden, because if Uruguay loses to Sweden, then they're going to be eliminated. France and Sweden will have 4 points. Here's Minamono. That's big for Uruguay. You know, they wanted Japan to run away with this. Nagatomo Minamono again. If Uruguay beats Sweden, and that's going to be big. Here's Osako again. No good. That's going to be Chauncey Loris. They're not going away. They're the number one team in Asia. Japan is ranked. Number one ranked team. They're about the 34th or 35th ranked team in the world. But they right now have had chances to get one in. France has never trailed in this tournament. They led 1-0 against Sweden and 2-1 against Sweden. Those games 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Griezmann. Giroud to Hernandez. Here's Conte. Conte will have it, trying to look inside. France with 3 goals. They want to get a 4th. That's going to be offside, and Japan will have a chance to kick. One of the reasons, one of the things I want to say, here's a sub. Ito comes in for Doan. Doan has a yellow. One of the things I want to say is that, you know, Japan has chances. They just really did things in the first half that were dumb. They had a turnover that led to a goal and then a couple other things. But they haven't been out-killed in this game. For France, well, they want to be number one because you play the number 2 of Group H. And whenever you have, here's Mbappe, long shot and almost. You're going to have Germany, and if you're first, the second place team in this group is going to have Germany. Okay? Because Germany, I think, is going to win that group. They have Russia and Croatia, and of course they could be good games, but you never know. So here in Group A, I think that, the second place team, whether it be Japan, Sweden, or Uruguay, is going to have Germany. And right now, that Sweden and Uruguay game is going to be big, because if Uruguay wins tomorrow and they win by a big margin, you want to get that tiebreaker, which is goal differential. That's the huge thing. If you want to do that, that's going to be a foul there against Ito. Then, if Uruguay can win, they'll have 3 points. And it'll be 4-3-3-1 with Japan and Uruguay playing essentially for spot number 2. And France would have to... There could be a situation where all 4 Group A teams get 4 points. And for that to happen, Uruguay will have to win tomorrow. And then what would happen in the last game? France would take on Uruguay. No, it couldn't happen. It couldn't happen. Because France would have 4, Uruguay would have 3. And then I would say a tie, but it would be 5. You could have 3 teams at 4, because then France and Uruguay would tie, and then Japan and... No, it wouldn't work out anyway. Osaka will turn, and he can't make it. They need a goal, definitely goal differential. That will help. Tied teams don't go by win-losses. And that's not the first. You have to have tie goal differential for that to come into effect. And Loris with a save, and that's a good one. And he is a good goalie. He's a very good goalkeeper. Nakajima. And he's going to give it to Shibasaki, to Nakajima. Nakajima to Sakai, to Ito. Ito, long shot to Loris. And here comes Varane, and France will take it over. So they're just going to kick it up. Yesterday we had a non-announcer game, a game where there were no announcers, and the final score was 3-2, Croatia beat Russia. So those teams, that's going to be a big one. Many people felt that Croatia and Russia, that was going to be the second place game for second. And let's see, that's going to be a foul. He's going to yell at the Japanese player. And he's not very happy there, the referee. He got Griezmann from behind. So here comes Griezmann. He'll try it, and he scores. Griezmann puts it in. And France, with an unbelievable free kick, Griezmann puts it in. It was almost frozen. And Griezmann has 2 goals today, and France puts ahead 4-0, and they look really good doing it. Griezmann, and look at the French fans. They can celebrate. The Japanese fans a little bit ticked off. Yeah, it hit the bottom of the crossbar, and it went in. Watch it strike. Hits the top and goes right down and in. Griezmann, that was perfect the way he put it. And at 4-0, that's pretty much going to be it. It was it before. There was a little bit of hope if Japan could put one in, but France went on all cylinders today. All cylinders. There was no stopping France. And right now, it's 4-0. Varane, Dembele again. I mean, what do you think? France is +4 now. They're now a +4, and quite frankly, they want to get this game over with. Japan wants to get it over with too. They don't want anybody else getting hurt or anything like that. A third of the game to go. That's it. It's like hockey. 3 periods. But you only get a break at halftime. Mbappe to Matuidi. Matuidi to again, Umtiti. And Sakai will chest trap it and go to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu again. Shibasaki to Sako. He'll have it and he pushes it ahead to Ito. Here comes Ito to the near side. He's going to cross it, and he can't have it, Mbappe. Conte again, and here's Matuidi. Conte to the near side, Hernandez. France 4, Japan nothing. Just a game in which France, well, I'll tell you what. France, it's just it's a game that France came in, they needed to do really well, and they did, and they just couldn't. They just didn't let up, and everything fell their way too. You know, soccer, you can play well and still lose and not score. But France, all the bounces went their way, and every single bounce, they capitalized on every turnover and every shot and everything, and they're just looking good. That'll be knocked away, and Japan will throw it in. Where do you go from here if you're Japan? Well, if you're Japan, you gotta recoup. You have to. Minamono. Nagatomo, here it is. Nakajima, Minamono again, no good, Pavard, and Loris will knock it away. Giroud to Matuidi, hit him in the back. They got to be careful there. Now, one thing, if you're France, you don't want to, I'll get Mbappe out of there. He's got a yellow. You don't want anything happening now. Though I don't think Japan is going to try and goad him into anything. Minamono, Shibasaki. And here's Nagatomo. Endo. I wouldn't say, see, here's the thing. It's embarrassing if you were favorites, or it's embarrassing if you were just totally dominated. Japan wasn't totally dominated. They, I think it was more skill by France than Japanese futility. I think the French played very well and very skilled this game. I don't think, Japan, yes, their first goal they gave up, but, I mean, the free kicks and all that stuff, my goodness. That was skill by France. And, what are you going to do? Like, seriously, what are you going to do? It's going to be France's ball as it goes out of play, and they're just going to throw it in. They want to keep this clock moving, which it always will be. And they want to take this 4-0 game. They would score 6 goals and only giving up 2. They give up 2 penalty shots, 2 penalty kicks to Sweden. So no regular goals going at normal time. Ito, they're going to push this one ahead. Nakajima a little too far, and it'll be a throw-in for France. Mbappe again, and here's France as they push it down. Giroud. Griezmann. Here comes Endo. And Japan will have it. They got 15 minutes left here in this game. Nagatomo will have it. They push it ahead. 4-0. The first 3 goals, the stream glitched and didn't get any of it. I don't think I did. Oh, Shibasaki didn't go after it, and Endo will have it. Long shot and a save by Loris. They've had a few of those big shots where Loris had to make some really good saves today. That's why I think Japan and Sweden is going to be just a big one, a big matchup. I think that's going to be huge. France is going to have 4 points. No, France is going to have, 4 points. Japan is going to have 3. Uruguay and Sweden tomorrow. Sweden has 1, Uruguay has nothing. If Sweden wins tomorrow, Sweden will knock out Uruguay. And one of the biggest disappointments in Uruguayan football history. They have high expectations. They have very big expectations. Very, very, very big. Like they want to win the whole thing. They believe they can match up with Argentina and Brazil. They believe they can match up with anybody, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, anybody. Here's Nakajima. Nakajima again. In the middle, Umtiti, no good. And here's Matuidi. And I'll tell you what, tomorrow we're going to see. Now, if they tie that game, it'll be 4-3-2-1, which is going to be very interesting because that means all Japan would have to do is tie Uruguay, and then Sweden would not tie France. France would be Sweden, and then Japan moves on. That's Japan's way through. Sakai. Ito. Minamino. Sorry about that. And here comes Nagatomo. I remember when Japan beat Uruguay. It was crazy. And Uruguay and France, I mean, that's going to be one in the last round. Actually, that's what I was going to say. In the last round, sorry about that. If it's the last round, here's Osako. A long shot, and it's a save. All France or all Japan would have to do is tie Sweden. Sorry about that. All Japan would have to do is just tie Sweden and hope that Uruguay does not beat France. Because Japan already beat Uruguay. But it's all going to be tomorrow. It's all going to be a very unique situation. Especially when you pull an upset like Japan did. Japan's very capable of doing it again. It just wasn't there today. It just weren't there today. They just didn't do it today. It wasn't there. It wasn't in the cards. Things didn't go right early. A couple fouls, a couple free kicks. I still haven't seen Matuidi score because I was wondering why the stream. I didn't see that. It was just a bad game. And I think that everybody can have a bad game. It's just that France will win their bad games. And Japan has to, when they play perfect, they're very good. But today they weren't. Pavard will give it to Griezmann. This clock is going to end the second phase here. The second round of games. France leads 4-0 against Japan. Again, France is going to be 1 win, 1 tie. Japan will be 1 win, 1 loss. Dembele, some good passing here. Trying to make it 5, and that won't work. Just the way it is. Japan let up a couple goals. A few skilled things. You might say there were a couple free kicks, but again, the defense not being able to handle France caused the fouls that caused the free kicks. And we're nearing 90 minutes. And once we hit 90, it's going to be over. Hernandez again. Umtiti. Down to Varane. 90 minutes. They're only going to add one more into this game. That's all they really need. They don't need to stretch this thing out a little bit longer. Griezmann will have it. They push it into Giroud, and it's too high. Giroud, you're up 4-0. You don't need to fall on the ground. And tomorrow we're going to go over all the scenarios after the game. Giroud wanted a goal. He wanted it 5. Gonda will have it. This will be the last possession probably for Japan. They might not even make it past midfield. Tomiyasu to Sakai. Sakai, and that's it. They just end it. France 4-0 over Japan. France is a +4 now with 4 points. Japan is a -3 with 3 points. A big blowout by France. And France looking good for the next round. They can't get cocky. France will have Uruguay, who's more than capable of beating them. But France has 4 points, so they're going to have to hope Japan or Sweden, Japan and Sweden maybe tie their game. So if Japan and Sweden tie their game, then more than likely, unless Uruguay blows out France, that's going to be France going to the next round. They would have to lose by 8 goals. So Giroud scored 16th minute. There you go. We're going to let you see this because we missed it on the other stream. Then the free kick where it goes in, 20th minute. And he got it nailed it and went in. Osako the 23rd, but you cycle around, and here's Matuidi from Mbappe. Look at that. Oh, what a pass and what a shot. That was good. That was really good. Bam. And that's what you have. So that's going to be it for us today. And France wins 4-0. We will see you tomorrow for Sweden playing Uruguay in a big, big game. We'll see you then.